What it do? What it do? What it do? YouTube, we are back with another OTP off the plank episode. You already know what time it is. Episode 4. It'll be a good one, man. Good conversation. I don't want to say complete newcomer into the reptile hobby, but fresh face. So it's gonna be real fun. I know how y'all like to ask questions, chitty chat. So gonna have to ask this man some questions. Get him thinking a little bit. But he ain't shy. You know what I'm saying? He's a good dude, cool dude, man. So far, so good with everything. So it's going to be fun. But before we get too far into it, man, Replay Gang, hashtag Replay Gang in the comments. Y'all know we like that. Hit that like, subscribe, and share button, man. I appreciate that. Also, if you're not a member of the channel, consider joining, man. It's going to be some good stuff going on back there. Got some giveaways coming up. I did hit a lot of like double hits and even visual heads and stuff like that. So I might be giving away some good stuff like that, man, for the members only. So you already know what time it is with that. Also, we do have next week. I didn't even know Thanksgiving came so fast, but Friendsgiving episode. So holla at me if you want to get on the panel, man. It's gonna be fun, kicking it, having a good time, cracking jokes, all that good stuff, man. Just recapping the year and just going over some different things that we're thankful for, especially in the hobby. So it's gonna be a good time. So definitely holler at your boy if you want to be on the panel for the Friendsgiving episode next week. Same time, same place. You already know what time it is. But tonight's episode is all about this man right here, man. Rightful Reptiles. You already know what time it is with that. My boy Scott in the backstage, and we got Brandon joining me, and Banner and Brian will be hopping on later on. They just, you know how it is. Everybody's busy, so everybody got some things going on, but we all try to make it do what it does. Keep y'all entertained every Tuesday. So, what else I got? Before we get too far, trying to think of any other quick little announcements I need to let y'all know before we keep going with this show. Can't think about it, but I'll let y'all know whenever I come up with it. Other than that, before we get too far into it, let me bring out my brother. Like Brandon doing something too, so I can't even bring him out. But I'm gonna go ahead and run these sponsorship commercials and ads. Y'all make sure y'all give the sponsors some follows. Y'all show love to the sponsors because we couldn't do it without them. I appreciate everything that they do. And I'm trying to find the clip. But I appreciate everything that they do. And I want to make sure that y'all show them love, man, and supporting them just like how they support us and support me and the crew. And they keep us going and they help us to keep going to continue to entertain y'all. You dig? So without further ado, let's get into it. We'll be right back. Shout out to Great Rider Reptiles, one of the leading shed testing brands in this hobby. As well as breeders of the ball python community, they have numerous tests ranging from the yellow belly morph to morphs like Sunset and are growing every day. If you're wanting to find out the genetics of your ball python, just send it in to Great Rider Reptiles and they'll take care of it. Their website is www.shedtesting.com. Let them know that I sent you. Hey man, shout out to the unofficial sponsor of the channel, K Joseph. Rising B-list celebrity in this hobby, KG got that all-around great knowledge, and he's also a great guy. If y'all aren't in the Patreon, it's a problem. And as always, it ain't a project unless you put a bomb in it. Oh yeah, and make sure you send the link. Shout out to BNS Reptilia, distributor of coconut substrate, The Chipper, and their premium coconut substrate, Cocoa to Go. BNS prides themselves on immaculate customer service and always putting their customers first. You can reach BNS Reptilia on Instagram for your substrate needs. Tell them that I referred you. And once again, thank you for being a sponsor, BNS. We appreciate you. Yes, sir. And we are back. Shout out to the sponsors.
Yeah.
Y'all make sure to get the sponsors to follow. What up, Pete? What up, B? PMPB? What up? I know y'all can't see Brandon. Brandon is in the dark right now, you know. I don't know what he got going on. Can you hear me, bro? I don't know. Flash a light twice or something if you can hear me or something. He barely can hear me. But nonetheless, before we I'm gonna mute him real quick. Before we well, no, we're just gonna bring out our guest one time, man. So this man hails all the way from Florida. Y'all already know how y'all Florida boys do down there, man. Good weather, up to a certain point in the year. But good weather, dope animals out there. Even though y'all can't have certain things like berms, kind of sucks. But y'all do have every single species in that melting pot of a place that we call FLA, Florida. And he's a dope dude, man. Brandon thought he had horses all because of the logo, but we soon found out that wasn't the case at the time. But he has ridden horses before, so that's still a good thing. Welcome to the stage, my boy Scott. What it do, bro? How you doing?
How's it going, guys?
Yes, sir. Brandon, I think Brandon's phone dropped his call, so he'll probably be back on after a while. But before we get too far into letting you introduce yourself and getting on to that good jazz, let's go ahead and say hey to the fam in the chat real quick. So first up, we got the Sultan of Support himself, Mr. Bosa Reptiles. What it do, Bosa? Bosa out there in Florida as well, bro. It's another.
Nice.
It's a lot of Florida people in the chat.
A lot.
We got next up, Mr. James B. Easy, the cookie man. What it do? Appreciate you for tapping in. His wife makes some dope, good stuff, bro. So I gotta try some stuff when I run into him in one of these shows. I gotta get her to bring me like some cookies or something. I definitely want some cookies. We got Christopher Walker in the building. What it do? Appreciate you for tapping in again, brother. Appreciate you. Hold on, let me make sure I can smurf you real quick before we go too far and I forget. Gotta turn you blue, man. Gotta make you a moderator. Real quick. Gotta find you on my phone. Boom. Wait, which one is which? Boom. Somebody pop up. It doesn't even want to pop up for me. I don't even know what's going on. I'll get you when I can, Chris. And we got another Chris in the building. What it do? 319 in the building, fam bam. We got Mr. James Perry in the building, the silent assassin. Appreciate you tapping in once again, brother. We got Dickie in the building. What it do? Dickie, shout out to that logo, bro. That logo is dope. The logo. That's a new logo right there. I like that. That's dope. That's tough. Definitely tough. Who else we got? We got my brother in the building. Wiz Code, the Wiz Tag fam in the building. What it do? Hey, bro, I'm gonna get you tapped in with wisdom so you can definitely join our we got like a whole little group chat and stuff, so that way you always talking snakes and all kind of different things, walks of life, all kind of good stuff. So dope people, bro. He got a whole bunch of dope people following behind it too. So it's good life people, bro. We got Arachnid Cat in the building, Tarantula Lady, Spider Lady. Got some recently got some new ball pythons and stuff. So shout out to Cat. Who else we got? We got Jeff in the building. What it do? Appreciate you tapping in, my brother. We got there it is. Mission Morse in the building. What it do, John? Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Always love, man. Much love to you and the fam. Yes, sir. Who else we got? They be tapping in. I think the thing is normally we're late. We get in here late, so everybody already be in the chat. So now we early. I'm trying to catch them as they come in real quick. There we go. I don't know who Russo is, but shout out. Appreciate you for tapping in. I don't know who's dating, but you figure it out. You let us know. We got my brother in the building, Prince Elias. Yeah, what it do? Appreciate you tapping in. Yes, sir. The non-official sponsors in the building. Mr. Dylan, D's Balls and Exotic. That's the Burn King right there. I know Dylan definitely was hating on that comment I made about Florida not having no berms.
I think that's the problem is we got too many of them now.
Fact.
That's the problem. We got too many of them.
Hey, shout out to the trendy rap slut, whoever that is. I appreciate you probably tapping in from Twitch. Shout out to you for tapping in. And no, you have not joined the Democrat room. This is all about reptiles, snakes, and all that good jazz. We got my brother in the building, MTC Pythons, Fred in the building. What it do? Appreciate you for tapping in, brother. Who else we got in here? Yes, there it is. Join the fam, man. Hit that join button, man, on my page, man. Come on over to the dark side. We got uh-oh. My screen went black for a second. I don't know what just happened. Who else we got in here? We got these people must have been tapping in from my Twitch. Twitch must be glowing up. Shout out to Ewog in the building, Tommy, another Florida native. Shout out to my boy out there, man. We got Willie Ice in the building. What you doing about the Carolina Panthers having a winning record? I ain't doing nothing at all, man. The Falcons just lost to them last night, and I ain't even a Falcons fan. We got Willie quit being under the spell of sports. That's crazy. I don't know who that is. But they're having a good time on there. Who else? There go Dylan. That's Florida's own fault. They could have got rid of the birds if they wanted to. I feel you. Be like that. There it is. Yep, the virtual live stream is about to bring a lot of trolls and crazy comments from unknowns. It is what it is, but that's what I got y'all for. The moderators, y'all know what to do, man. Y'all can block them. Y'all can do all of that. So we already know what time it is with that. We got my brother in the building and sister, Will and Audra of Flawless Exotic Creations in the building. Y'all definitely give them a follow, man. They got some dope stuff, dope projects, dope series. All that good jazz, man. Definitely some new pioneers in the game for real. Give them a follow, man. It's a totally separate chat for the normal chat. I got you. I do have it streaming on two things. So I have it streaming on the regular YouTube, and you can stream it from your phone now. So new little feature that stream y'all gave. So it's kind of crazy. This live layout is weird. I don't know if y'all can see two. Can you see two screens, Scott?
Yeah, I see myself in a small one, and then there's two screens. One's playing with you, and the other one's pros. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So one is I guess it's supposed to be for people that can look at it from their phones, and then the other one is regular YouTube. So just trying something new.
That's super cool.
We got the sis in the building, Banner, waiting on you to tap in from the ER. No, I'm just playing. Waiting on Banner to tap in though. Whenever she hops in, we'll get it going. And then we got Jamie in the building. What it do? Appreciate you for tapping in, man. Yes, sir. I think I caught up for right now. But yeah, so Scott, let's just get straight into it. Let everybody know who you are, where you from, how long you've been in the hobby, and 2 fun facts about yourself, brother.
Oh, that's pretty good. Well, first and foremost, my name's Scott, and last name's Kerner, and I just started Rightful Reptiles this last year. So I'm originally from Florida. I'm a Florida native, and I live about an hour now north of where I grew up. I'd say that my full-time day job funds my hobby, and that's what this originally started as, was a hobby, and I started collecting, I'd say more serious so in the last 3 years. It's been about. I think a lot of people got it back into the hobby. I think COVID, really just jump started. A lot of people were bored and they were looking for things to get into. And I know our industry did phenomenal in that time. And a lot of new breeders, a lot of new hobbyists, a lot of people that were, completely oblivious to what we're doing here, are now starting to, really see that it's a very growing industry. And, it used to be a very niche business and small. And now, you got families and children and so many different walks of life. It's beautiful to see. So that's kind of how I started out in this. And this is actually going to be my first year laying eggs. Super excited. This last 2 months, I ultrasounded 10 females. And so far I've gotten 8 locks. So I'm really, really happy. Yeah, it's really, really, really good stuff. This has been a dream come true for me. So.
Oh yeah, that's dope, bro. Yeah. Definitely step in the right direction with the 8 locks, 8 out of 10 so far. Yeah.
Yep. And there's just more to come. That's the cool part is when I got into the hobby of collecting, I didn't just really jump in as far as I have my nostalgia animals, ones that are to me have just they're priceless, and it's not of their value based on genetics. It's just more like, for me, and I think a lot of people, especially the younger crowd, I think that we're drawn to things visually. And so for me, there was just a couple animals. Like I have a nostalgia animal. One of the more simple genes was pastel, and she's a super vanilla. And so my first ball python I ever bought when I was 20, I'll start from the beginning. For me, well, I had fascination for ball pythons in general around the age of 12. And, God bless my mom's soul. So what I did was I wanted one. I asked my parents and they were like, no, you're not getting a snake. I'm like, oh, okay. So, smart, manipulative me. I'm like, all right, I'm going to save up all my lunch money. I'm going to save up. I'm going to get this animal, and I don't care what they say. Right. So I'm going to get it anyways. And so I went to a pet store at 12 years old. I walked in, I bought my first normal ball python, and I went home. I don't know where my ideas started creating. I'm like, I can't get a tank set up. I can't have anything that's noticeable, or they're going to know I had this animal in the room. And, they already told me no. So I went and I had like an old Nike shoe box, and I poked a couple holes in it, and I stuffed it under my bed and went to school. So my mom, I guess, was cleaning my room that afternoon, and she's going underneath the bed. She sees this box with holes in it. And thank God she didn't open it, because she's like, I would have had a heart attack. So I walked in the door after school that day. She's like, I got to ask you a question. What the hell is in that shoebox under your bed? And I'm like, my eyes lit up. I was caught at that point. I'm like, well, I said, I bought a snake. And she's like, you bought a what? You bought a snake? You brought it in your mom's house? Are you out of your mind? She's like, Ted, you better grab him, take him back to that pet store, and get this thing out of my house. So they drug me down back to the pet store, and they're like, hey, you got to take this snake back. And like, back in the day, like, there's no return policy. It's like, I don't care what you say. You're taking this snake back. You can keep the money. We could care less about that. You're getting this animal back. And so as I'm like walking out the store, I remember I asked my dad, I was like, you're not going to at least even give me my money back? I worked hard to save up for that, to get in the damn car. They were so pissed. So, fast forward 10 years, I was in my early 20s, and I moved out to Texas for work. I told you I'm in the land development business. And in that time frame, I think it was like the 08, 09 time when the economy was really crashing hard. I mean, I moved to San Antonio first, and then I went to Dallas, and you wouldn't even have known that the economy was crashing. I mean, I was working hard. I was new in the business, and I did great. So, one day I'm bored, and this was like Craigslist when it was popping. I went on Craigslist, and I saw somebody had an ad. It said ball pythons for sale, and I saw a list of animals. They were mainly more of the more common codom genes and stuff like that. And I saw a pastel vanilla, probably $100 animal. And I remember I met this guy in a Walmart parking lot, and he's like, hey, pick which one you want. And there's like 11 of them in a tub. I'm like, you have 11 of the same snake? He's like, dude, I got way more than 11. And, the same snake. He's like, I got a lot of snakes. I was like, really? And I was just so intrigued that this man had numbers of snakes in a shed in his backyard, And I was like, dude, that's such a cool idea. He's like, yeah, I drive, a frac sand truck for my daytime job 3 weeks out of the month, but I'm a full-time ball python breeder. And I was just blown away by this whole concept. I'm like, this dude's breeding freaking snakes in a shed. Like, these things are awesome, but how is this a business? And he described and told me every single thing about this business. And I remember I walked away from that conversation being like, well, like, that was my dream. Like, in my early 20s, I was like, I don't want to be a friggin' an operator forever. I don't even, maybe I'll work my way up and get into management like I did now. That way I can fund my dream. I said, but I want to breed ball python morphs just like this dude. He was like my superhero. And he was like, I remember he said, I said, I got to ask, how much money do you think you have invested? And he goes, dude, I probably have, $250,000 worth of animals in a shed. And that just blew my mind. He's like, my wife helps me, on the weeks that I'm traveling for work. She helps with feeding. She helps with cleaning and the husbandry. And the week I'm home, cleaning tubs, running the rattery. And I was just like, whoa, this is cool, man. And so I was stuck from there. And so my first animal I bought after being a young child was a vanilla pastel. And I just remember just being so blown away by contrast, coloration, seeing that the same species of an animal could, potentially you could change the color patterns, the contrast, all this stuff. And I was like, whoa, we're stepping into something here. And, and then as in the last couple of years when I went to, actually went to the Scales Expo, which is not far from me, at the West Palm Beach Amphitheater over here. They do it every year. They got scales and tails. And I know Repticon's really huge in Florida. We got the NARBC, got Daytona. So, my first year after I went to the first expo, I bought 3 animals, and within 2 months, I was up to almost 30 animals. Like I just jumped all the way in. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna, invest in something and in myself, I want to do this right. And I started getting, I love clown stuff. Clowns, obviously, like Pied, it's just a staple in the industry. It's not going anywhere. So I bought into a lot of clown stuff, or het clown things. Just, I wanted to, it's like being a chef. I look at it as being a breeder is like you get, it's like one of these shows where they just throw a bunch of ingredients in front of you and you got to figure out how to make a meal that's really tasty. For us, we want to make a snake that's visually really attractive. It's powerful. It's current. There's a lot of new genetics that we're finding out about and what they do. And it's just, to me, it's like I feel like I'm actually a part of something that's worth it today. And I love what I do. First and foremost, that's why, my father told me as a kid, he said, if you find something you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I feel like working with these animals, I feel like they've not just changed my life, but they've helped save my life. They've made my life have value today. It's like having children, but it's my baby. I love my animals. I love the quality of animals I have. I love what's getting ready to be produced. A lot of world's firsts or stuff that's just, eye catching, or genes that people are forgetting about or don't even know about what they do. And it's beautiful, man. So that's my intro and pretty much the bio of like where Rightful Reptiles started and where we're at today.
Okay. So 2 fun facts about yourself.
Let's see. Fun facts. Oh man. Well, I'm a pretty big guy. So fun fact, I'm 6'5". I used to play football. That was like a big thing. I grew up playing football and I was really good. And so decided to go a different route in my life and went, started working in nightclubs and bar scenes and stuff, and got into a lot of trouble and it led me down a crazy path. And I jumped out that and got into construction, and here we are. So those are some fun, interesting facts about myself.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope.
man. Yeah.
What position you played in football?
I was a right tackle. Originally, I started out as like a tight end. I was right on the right side. I always stayed on the right side. So I was a tackle towards the end because, like, when I was 15, I hit a growth spurt. I went from like 6'2" to 6, or sorry, I was 6'1" to 6'3", and I went from like 185 pounds up to like 225. So I jumped pretty fast.
Oh, yeah,
and so they're like, yeah, this kid's going on the line, man. He's not catching, like, he's not fast enough. Florida's notorious for raising NFL players, man. And I played against some of the best kids that are, I still have people today that I know that I grew up with that are in the NFL now.
Okay, that's dope, bro.
Yeah, super cool.
That's dope. What I was about to say, so you said clown is the direction you chose to go into.
Well, just one of them. Yeah, just one of many.
So what who or like what if you can remember, what snake was it that you saw? Like, was it a combo clown or was it just a single gene clown that kind of got you like, your gears running?
Well, I remember, like, even when I was in my 20s and I bought my first Kodom animal, clowns were still around. And so I remember seeing price tags on them and seeing pictures of them, and they were ridiculously expensive, in the thousands of dollars. And I'm sitting there going, whoa, like, that's like a dream. Like, I wonder how, like, if I could ever make enough money to be able to afford something like that. But the cool part about that was I realized, this isn't a get rich quick scheme. This isn't, you're going to get the genetics or the animal you want to produce long term. It's not like our generation we have today, the microwave generation, I call it, where, we get what you want, you want it now. So yeah, if you want what you want, you're going to pay for it, or you're going to be patient and you're going to make it. And so for me, like, I wanted to make cool clown combos myself. So I ended up buying, I'd get, ODYB animals because I love Aussie stuff. I think having cool orange animals, or, now I'm starting to get into the Mandarin project. I mean, there's so many different avenues, like, of color patterns or color palettes that for me just visually attracted me. I love hypo animals. I got some really cool hypo clown stuff. Yeah, and then I bought into the puzzle project, so I have a lot of hypo het puzzle or puzzle het hypo animals, or puzzle clown. I think a lot of people, it's because I've noticed with the puzzle stuff in clown, it's really hard to see that it's there. So I think once we start tapping into just like a lot of other genetics, hopefully with the Kodom, it starts bringing some stuff to the table that's new and something different.
I know Dylan will like you a lot for that comment right there. Dylan is definitely working that puzzle clown heavy.
Yep.
Trying to basically let everybody know, don't sleep. Yeah, I just picked up a clown female that's het for puzzle as well, with some other Kodoms in her. So
nice.
And it's gonna be some things. Hold on, let me unmute Brandon real quick. B, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, man. So the clown. Well, Brandon. I'm not gonna say Brandon is a clown hater, but Brandon is is a clown disbeliever. How about that? We'll go with but he's more so on the cryptic side, you know, since
Nice,
cryptic
nice.
clown, all that good stuff anyway. So
Yep.
I kind of feel like it's a little battle there, but it's pretty dope though.
Yeah, it's like
Overall.
that's like me with Pied. Like for some reason, like I don't care what anybody says. People love Pied stuff, and it sells, and it's visually for people. And for me, at first, I didn't understand it. It just wasn't like it wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't find them as visually sharp. But now I'm like, dang, I want to get into some Pied stuff. I'm sleeping, and I really want to start getting into it. But these are like staple genetics. I feel like that are just not going anywhere, and they'll always forever sell. They might not be the most expensive, but they were the original, recessives that I think brought a lot of people into the business. Who doesn't like seeing an animal that's split, or having high contrast, or just looks visually different than something that you're used to seeing, especially like a wild type ball python. It's just totally different.
Fact.
Yeah.
A lot
So
of
like
Pied
for me,
key.
Yep.
yeah, for
Yep.
me, like Pride is one of my favorite
Yep.
genes. Like it's one of my
I remember
favorite.
I remember when I first saw a pod and I was like, damn, like I gotta have one of those one day. Cause see, I got in about let's say around COVID. So that's
Okay.
when everything was already priced high and everything was
Yep.
like booming and everything was moving and you was like,
Yep.
damn, like I could do this, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I can sell water to a fish. So
That's
I feel
it.
like I can get out there and actually talk to people about these animals. But saw a pod and I was just like blown the hell away, like damn.
That's awesome.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it got me, I'm not gonna lie. And then I was like, I gotta have one of those. Then when I got one of those, I ended up getting another one. Then I ended up having a female of an adult breeder that was heifer pod. I didn't even know, proved her out randomly. You know what I'm saying? So
You're not the first person I've heard that from. I've heard like from probably one or two people now. They're like, yeah, I mean, and it's just because especially with hets or just genetics in general, they may be carrying something and we don't know. And for some reason, on both, you're the third person that said that they had Pied hiding in their collection that they had not a clue about.
Yeah, a lot of people, because a lot of people back then too weren't even labeling like the hets.
Yep.
Because
they're just selling them. Yep.
Yeah, we didn't have shed testing back then, so. Like, that's another thing. Shout out to Charlie over there at Phenom ShedTesting.com, man. Shout out to them, man. They're doing their thing over there, man. But yeah, it's like the whole overall of how the industry has evolved in the last couple of years. It's been great, and I look forward to seeing how we'll continue to just blossom and just get more people in and become more innovative and all that good stuff in there, man. So it's pretty dope. That's another one. At this point, I assume every snake has that pie hiding in it. For sure. That you never know. You never know.
I think for some people that's part of the chase. You know what I mean? That they're hoping to prove out that they find something genetically. And I think that's what one of the beauties with technology is. It's just like me. Like I'm an old dog. I thought you couldn't teach new tricks. Like I realized for me, I wasn't a social media person, right? I told you I work really hard. I'm outside all day long. I don't even really watch TV, to be honest with you. Like most of my day is spent working or working with the animals or working with my kids or just totally changed my life to being a family man and just a provider. And that to me was where my focus was at. And then I started to realize, I said, man, if I don't start stepping into it's just like anything. If you don't start getting with the times, you're going to get left in the dust. And so I said, you know what, I need to make an Instagram. I made it, I had my girlfriend made an Instagram, made a Facebook for me. I haven't even, she got a TikTok stuff. I haven't even tapped into it yet, but I know like for me, global marketing, social media, period, that's the best route. It's free. You got to just put work into it. Just like anything, it'll come to fruition. And that's why I think people like us do so well is because we think ahead. We plan for the future. For me personally, I want to reach a global level where I want to be able to sell a snake to somebody in another country that saw a picture on an Instagram or a post or on a Facebook post, and they reach out and they say, hey man, I'm from Cameroon or I'm from, Southeast Asia or the UK. And I go, man, I'm just a small town Florida boy that had a love for snakes. And look, you guys are in Maryland. I met Brandon just from the name of a logo or a logo sparked a conversation. So for me, I think I'm a good people person, and I always like to represent, what I'm all about and what this company is all about, which is quality over quantity. and about building relationships with people that are like-minded, have good morals, good values, and are bringing heat to the table. And even though we may not, not be at the the Canova level, or some of the biggest names in the industry that we look up to, and that we love their animals they produce, we can still produce high quality animals by purchasing it. I look at it as like a pyramid scheme, I was told, without the scheming. You got your people at the top, and what they trickle down with, we get, and then we get the opportunity to make and build stuff off that maybe they've never even produced or seen or even know what it is. And to me, that to me is what drives me. It keeps me going, man, like, if we know, there's some X amount of genetics out there, well, think about all the ones that we haven't even tapped into yet. Like you said, we're at the tip of the iceberg right now, where I think we're leading this with a spearhead, where the small time breeder can show that we're forced to be reckoned with, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to feel like the whole pyramid scheme too, and then I realized, like, honestly, it's not. And the reason it's not, what made me realize it's not, is Billy with Mutation Creation. He I was listening to one of his Monday shows, and he was just like, it's too many genes for anyone to be on top. It's all about, to me, so it's all about the influence does matter, because of course the bigger guys are the ones that's going to influence the market and make the people that just want to follow, that think they just going to make money because they're following a certain gene or a certain morph or whatever. They're going to always have those. And then you got the outliers, the ones that's like, oh, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to try to do something totally different, or I'm not even going to go that way. I feel like those are the people who are going to be next. And it's going to be totally different coming up soon.
Oh yeah, it's going to be dope.
Yeah.
I want to shout out real quick. I want to shout out Big Double L, man, member of this channel, top tier member of this channel, man. So shout out to Lindworm Exotics. I'll make sure I get him a follow. Definitely show love, and he got some heat coming next year. So definitely shout out to Lindworm, man. But yeah, no, like, bro, it's ever growing, bro, and I'm definitely glad to be a part of it. So how do you go about planning? How do you, like, so I know being fresh and new in the game, and I know you probably watching, like, every now and then, catching some YouTube and catching some, some info from other breeders. So how do you go about planning your season and doing your pairings and, like, kind of like preparing yourself to kind of elevate to the next level?
Well, I think, like, so just like I learned originally to get into the business I did, which is civil engineering. I had to learn from somebody that knew what they were doing. And so that was when I really started watching YouTube. I started going to expos and talking to the top people, seeing what kind of animals they're producing, how they were doing it. And to me, I think it's nothing more than like something we probably all overlooked in science class when we were kids, which is genetics. You got the Punnett square and trying to beat the odds. I call it the odds gods, but in reality, you never know what you're going to get. You might get a pairing that is a 1 in 32 from a double head to a double head and might slam it, and get a home run right off the rip. So I think that as far as pairings go, I planned originally with the animals that I purchased from, I think, some of the best people in this business that really focused in on certain genetics. They, they have clean lines. Like I don't know, a lot of people don't know. Like I posted the other day a cinnamon lace yellow belly het clown boy from Billy Rice. And when I met him at Daytona for the first time, he was telling me how him and Justin only used a certain line of lace that they got that was super clean. They just said, hey, we're going to stick with this one. This one's beautiful. And it's really high expression. And I was able to pick up that animal along with a couple other animals from them. And so to me, like, I wanted to pair things that I never seen or that nobody has done yet. I said, I want to, play with Cypress, GHI, Fire, Yellow Belly. I have a line of Yellow Belly, Orange Belly. That's an old, people say, hey, it's not even a line. Well, I have a world's first animal that when I got her, she was probably one of the most orange snakes I'd seen. And I was like, I wonder if that was part of the Orange Belly line. And obviously with ball pythons, they fade in time. And I said, you know what? I bet you if I stick lace and hypo in this animal, on top of getting visual clown, I wonder or even white lace, what this animal is going to look like. So I plan in my mind for clean animals, something that is high contrast, visually stunning, maybe never been made before, or, the odds. And then when it comes to the pairings, I try and get my best odds possible, getting a visual to a het or visual to visual. And then even when it came time to breed, I'm not going to lie. Like at first I was like, I got to think, like I got all the way to this point. I had this all, it's so funny. I remember had a conversation with Bob from Bob's Balls. And he said, dude, you're going to buy animals. And when it's time to breed, you're going to have a totally different direction you're ready to go. And I was like, I don't know, maybe, you know, I was on to, maybe he was on to something because it's true. You know, it's time. And I was like, oh man, maybe I want to put this male to this female, or maybe save him for another female, you know? And then I started I said, you know what, let's be smart about this. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write down all the males I have, all the females I have, and just see like what's ready. And maybe just because these are my first pairings, you know, I wanted to get out some visually striking animals right off the rip. And so like a gene that I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on or are not really tapped into is the Tofino stuff. Shout out to Garrick DeMeyer with Royal Constrictor Designs. He's got, you know, amazing animals. And I remember I bought a black pastel Tofino and a regular Tofino girl. And just one of my first pairings, I put a black pastel albino to a Tofino girl so I can get, you know, some Toffies, some Toffinos and black pastel Toffinos. And I just think that like a banana, you know, how they start out purple and orange and yellow, and, you know, in time they get, you know, fading and freckling, and there's genetics you can throw in there like Mojave, and or you get the super bananas and they don't freckle at all. And to see a Tofino girl that went from a baby I had her to her age now, she's still as purple and orange and yellow as the day I got her. If not, you know, I think she's absolutely stunning. And so I want to start packing really cool stuff into there. Like I was talking when I joined my first Patreon, which was with Garrick, you know, I had asked him, I said, have you put any Orange Dream or Super Orange Dream in any of this stuff yet? And he was like, no, but I'm definitely going that direction. I realized, I was like, man, I need to start shutting up because I'm giving people ideas here that they haven't even thought about, or they have, and they're just keeping it under wraps. I'm like, man, you know, loose lips, man, I got to shut up. This is, you know, I'm giving away all the good stuff here that I'm getting ready to do.
Yeah, sometimes that's what it is for real. But the thing is, you want to know, so it's like,
yes, I wanted to know.
Hey, you think this is a good idea? But then it's like, damn, now I done gave you my idea and I put it out there. Brandon, you had a situation like that. You had a situation like that, Brandon.
Yeah, and you're like, dang, this guy just stole my idea. But you know what? I look at it as this is a group effort, because if I produce something that you want, and you're like, you know what, I don't have the time, or I'm not heavy in this project, and this will give me a jump, then yes, 100% it's worth the investment, and it's, you know, it's something that's got to be calculated that you can, you know, hopefully and pray that it all works out for you in the long run, and you can start producing the animals ultimately that you want to produce.
Oh yeah, that's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope. Ultimately, that's dope.
So how big is your collection right now? And how big are you trying to get to?
Say it again, Brandon.
I said, how big is your collection right now, and how big are you trying to get to? Can you hear me?
You heard him, Scott?
No, I couldn't hear him.
Hold on.
He said, how big is your collection right now, and then how large are you trying to get to? Like, what's the biggest you trying?
That's a good question. So right now I'm sharing a facility with a good friend of mine. They own JMB Exotics. And so Dave is a service member, and he's law enforcement and a breeder and has a rattery. And so I met him originally. I was buying feeders off him because he was local to me. And I actually met his son, Chris, who's here with me today. And we're just like, you know, he's the heartbeat of what we got going on here. So he helps with the rats, you know, getting our production so we can be able to feed for 2 collection sizes now. And right now my collection size, I'd say I'm up to, I think it was 51 or 52 animals. 52. Chris just correct me. 52 animals right now. And then I'm not sure exactly how many they have, but I'd say it's probably in like the 200 range, if not more. And they have more than one species. And they got some wild, awesome animals, man. And I just look up to Dave and them so much, and I'm grateful for them with the opportunity that they presented me with, which is to be able to share space until I'm able to afford to get my own. And that's the goal here, is that I want to be self-sustaining, and anything I've ever done in my life that's been worthy, I started from the bottom and ground my ass to the top. And it's always paid off. I feel like anybody, when they invest in themselves, you can't go wrong, you know. And if you do fail, you pick yourself back up and you look at where you did fail and see, you know, it's a learning experience, and that's how you gain wisdom. And so for me, I don't want to be the wisest man on the block, but I definitely want to try and make nice animals, make good decisions as far as investments, build great relationships with people that only want to elevate, that aren't, you know, jealous or envious of what you have. And, I could share a male with somebody, and I'm not looking for something in return. I'm looking to see that smile on somebody's face when they see what they made and they go, holy crap, man. Like, I did that, I made this, or the animals I had produced this. And that whole experience is summed up in a nutshell for me is why I do this. It's worth it to me,
It's all about the smiles and all about the memories, man. Ultimately.
That's it.
So what other recessives projects do you have besides the clown?
Okay, so I got clown stuff, puzzle clown stuff, hypo puzzle stuff, hypo clown stuff. What else? What else do we got? The Tofino stuff, albino stuff. What
got
else?
hypo?
Yeah, we said hypo. I got a lot of hypo stuff. I'm getting ready to start tapping into the VPI and the DG stuff. I think I'm a little behind on that, but the biggest one that I'm really looking forward to is like a lot of white lace clown stuff. I have a lot of cool combos getting ready to be made with that, or which something I really haven't. I'm going to release that info because I think that's something people are sleeping on, is starting to get into the lace hypo clowns or the white lace hypo clowns. It's that I'm not far off from being able to make one, and I know once I do, that's going to be like my Powerball right there. I'm excited to.
Oh yeah,
really, it's going to be really cool. I cannot wait, that's for sure.
Elias. So Elias is a anti-clown and anti-hypo, anti-DG. When you said puzzle, you was okay.
He's like, I'm not even going to look at what he's got. He's got clown stuff. No, I don't even want to talk to him.
So how do you decide which pairings to like kind of like go with? Because I know you said you once you get to a certain point, then you be like, damn, like maybe I should do this male instead. So how do you actually decide to pull that trigger at that point? Do you just kind of like when you get there and then you decide and you be like, okay, well, let me just put them in there so I won't even have to think about it, or is it more so like you still kind of find yourself stuck sometimes?
No, I definitely am stuck on certain things because I know that there's certain animals that I know that I want to produce and put into my own collection as holdbacks, so that way I can use them for future breeding. That's part of, I feel like the business aspect of this industry and learning how to, stay ahead. And that's, keeping your more power packed animals so that way you can use them. You don't have to go out and buy them or try and find them. Like I found, I love the MorphMarket auctions. Once they started doing that, I was able to get and see like big breeders or people that were getting out of the business and get into it. And somebody recently was getting out of they had a lot of NR Mandarin hypo stuff, and they just put out a male and a female NR Mandarin hypo clown. And I was like, that's what I was trying to make. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I need to buy this animal right now. And I had to stop myself because, these are some serious investments. And I was like, but I have the opportunity to make that today. And just like I said, by making calculated decisions at the beginning and saying, hey, like, this is what I wanted to produce. If this male and this female are both sexually mature, they're healthy, they're showing growth, follicle growth, and they're ready to be paired, they're showing their signs, it's time to stick them in. And like I just did a pairing the other day that, to me, like, I'm so excited for the babies. I took a leopard, orange dream, orange belly clown, and she's 100% het hypo, and I stuck her to a lace double het hypo clown male. So I want to make some lace hypo clowns out of her, and hopefully I get something right off the rip. And that, to me, that first animal that's stacked, that's a holdback, and that's what keeps me going. That kind of calculated thought that when I got the animal at the first point, I said, hey, this is what I want to create, and then I want to start. That's like the platform. I want to start there and then develop onto that, and that to me is my project.
Okay. Yeah, that's dope. That's a nice. That's actually a nice pairing, to be honest.
Yep. Really nice. Yep.
So do you feel like there are a lot of, like, I know you said lace, you were talking about the white lace stuff, the orange belly. Do you feel like there are any other like sleeper genes in the hobby that you think will become bigger soon?
Yeah, I'm praying. I did, a couple expos ago that I went to, I was sitting talking to Steve from Steve Morphs. That's another pioneer in the game, and been around a long time. Has beautiful animals. And I remember I think it was in Daytona, and I put him on my Instagram that is basic Huffman hypo het clown boy. And I bought a female from him because he had her sitting out. And I remember when I saw her, I was like, is this really sitting on the table for sale? Right now, it was a Huffman hypo clown visual and a female. I said, oh my God, I got to get this animal. So, I ended up purchasing both of them. And then at the end of the conversation, he's like, oh, dude, So for me, like, I think Huffman's really slept on. Like, I think it does phenomenal stuff. It's got these crazy, crazy gold rings in them. It acts very much like black pastel, but it's not. And I think a lot of people aren't really working heavy into that stuff. And I've seen it mixed with hidden gene Woma, but for some reason, Huffman and Hypo, I feel like they were meant to be. It's almost like super mandarins and Hypo. They produce like this smoked out, creamy appearance with high contrast, great visuals on the alien heads. And he was like, dude, you want to see something? And I'm like, I was like, yeah, oh, for sure. I was like, what's he going to whip out? He goes, I actually just produced and I brought him here. Yeah, he said I shouldn't have brought him, but I brought him just in case somebody wanted to buy them. It was they were blackhead Huffman Hypo clowns. He produced a boy and a girl, and I saw them and I was like, my eyes just lit up. I was like, whoa, that is nuts. Absolutely nuts, man. Beautiful, beautiful animals.
Yeah, Huffman is definitely a slip. Yo, Brandon talking about. Oh, you've been telling me I got a Huffman. I actually got. So I'm not gonna give it away yet because I got some stuff that.
Yeah, I'm over here loose flipping again. I told you I got a problem, man.
But Huffman is definitely in the pairing and some other allelic combinations that I'm working in my paint project. So it's definitely one. Definitely gonna be some crazy stuff coming up within this year. So, So what are your thoughts on producing for the pet market versus the higher end collectors?
So I think that's a really good question. So I think that's like that. I think that's a lot of a question that everybody that's breeding animals should ask themselves is what direction are you trying to go into? Are you trying to just focus on one? Like, are you want to be a pet quality animal or to the regular hobbyist? And then there's, the people like us that are investors that are more on the hobbyist / breeder side. They're, trying to get into the game slowly but surely, or they're, trying to produce animals themselves and, sell whatever offspring that they don't need. And then you have obviously the high-end collectors and the serious breeders, which are, I think that for me personally, I want to target all three. I think that I'm looking to be able to have the education side and start working with people that, you see at the expos. And once I be able to vend, you have your pet quality animals that I think will forever sell. And then you have your intermediate stuff and your heads that, maybe from whatever I tried to produce in that clutch and I get the more visual and I need to sell het animals and they have, whoever wants to tap into that project, whatever it may be, has that opportunity to do the same thing as well. And then obviously you have your higher end stuff that, if you produce more than one animal, that's not a holdback, or you already have it, or there's no need and you need, the cash to keep going. But I think that's when that's when you start doing that. But I've come to notice with ball pythons, it's like any industry, you got your up and down times. And just because you post something at a high dollar doesn't mean you're going to get it. So, it's the reality of life,
Yeah. No, that's a great answer.
It doesn't hurt to ask, that's the old saying. It doesn't hurt to ask, but I mean, if you got an animal listed for $30,000 and, you're looking at MorphMarket sales and or how long this person's been in the business, maybe they've been in the business 25, 30 years, or they're a pioneer in, found staple genetics that, people like us are tapping into. I think those are the people that are able to kind of dictate the market value. And they are able to set a standard. And so you see this high quality animal and you go, man, I just produced that. And maybe that $25,000 snake isn't $25,000 to you, but you never know. You might meet a buyer, you might meet a person, have a relationship, somebody wanting to work that project that has the obsession, I call it, that we have, and they want to get into this heavy, or they just want a really unique animal. Then I think that market is there, but I don't think it's a smart move business wise to just think that you're going to hop into an industry as a chuck with a truck, I call it. There's a million people out there with a dually and a dump trailer and a skid steer. And just because they can half-ass grade doesn't mean that they're going to be a successful land development business. And, because I was going to do that myself. And I said, why jump into a pool of sharks when reality, maybe I don't even know how to swim. Like, I know I'm very skilled at what I do, but this isn't like my dream. This isn't my love. Why don't I chase something that's worth it to me? And that's exactly what ball pythons is for me.
Nice.
And, I originally, interesting enough, that's why it's Rightful Reptiles, was I got out of a relationship recently that our plan was to do more than just ball pythons. We were going to do geckos as well. And so I was really, really heavy into tokay geckos, lychee geckos, chihuahuas, cresteds, gargoyles. I mean, I had it all. And, once everything kind of came out in the wash, I walked away with my animals and I said, you know what, like this was like almost like a sign from God. Like I need to focus on one thing. I need to focus on the one thing that I have the true love for. Not saying I don't love those animals and I didn't love them. I absolutely am fascinated by reptiles as a species, you know, as a genre in general. But I also wanted to do, which I think, you know, now seeing that Billy Rice did it as well, was that I wanted to originally get into building habitats or doing something along those lines where, you know, you're kind of like an all-in-one shop. Like I like what some people are doing as far as marketing, where they're not just, you know, you have just your display case and, you know, that's it. I think the people that are really taking off and gaining traction, they're doing more than one thing, or they're marketing in a direction where it's like a select thing. They're not going all across the board, and you have too many animals or too many projects and things that you can't just focus in on one. And I mean, I think for some people, if it's just a hobby, I think that's fine. But I think for myself personally, I'm taking it serious in the business aspect where I want to focus on one thing right now at a time, put my heart and soul into it, put all the energy it needs and direct it into building beautiful animals first and creating a brand. I think that, you know, you could put steak on a garbage can lid, as my dad used to say, and it's still a shit steak, but you put it on a nice plate and you go to a nice high-end restaurant, you know, that steak sells for a couple $100s. So I think it's all about presentation. I think it's all about smart selective marketing and what your target market is. And for me, I want to target hobbyist people. I think that's going to be my biggest market. I want to be people like us, middlemen, you know, somebody that's not at the top yet, somebody that's just coming in, somebody that's investing in something, and they want somebody like us. Because I mean, it's obviously me not shutting up. I'm in love with what I do. I love my animals, and I can sit and talk about them from sun up to sundown. So for me, I live, eat, breathe, and shit my snakes, dude. You know what I mean? Seriously. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love that passion.
Yeah,
I love that
man.
passion, that drive that you got, bro. That's definitely good, bro. Keep that shit going.
Yeah,
bro.
man.
Keep
Yeah,
that
bro.
shit going. So how do you well, I guess you kind of hit that. I was about to say, how do you kind of keep your projects unique? So when many breeders are working the same, like similar projects, keep yourself, how do you separate yourself from the pack, pretty much?
Well, I think it's all about, like I said, quality over quantity. So, I mean, for me specifically, I think that it's not going to be uncommon that there's going to be people, because I mean, they're animals, so people are going to want what you have, or you might want what they have, and you could be working the same project. That's fine, but I think that can be a unique opportunity to be developing into a project where that's where you can start doing breeder loans, or buying animals from each other and starting to create things that maybe weren't even on your mind yet. And so for me, I think that's a really good approach to staying current with the market and the times and genetics, and also being able to further yourself as a company and as a breeder, in a direction that maybe you didn't, like I said that from the beginning, like maybe you didn't even think you were going to go that route, but now you have, it's like getting a new ingredient to add on to that potato salad. Maybe, you want to throw a different mayonnaise in there this time, and it's going to taste way better. And that snake is going to come out looking out way different than you thought, but it's different. It's clean. It's unique. And I think like certain genetics, I don't think they're going anywhere. I think they're staples. There might be more availability, or the market might crash a little bit, but I think certain genetics, they're just staples and they're not going anywhere. So, to develop onto that and to keep figuring out, like layering into the multi-recessives, that's my long-term goal, getting into the hypoclownpides, DGs. I'm listening to people, they're talking about making quint hets, and you're like, geez, like these are projects that somebody took, 20 years to develop, or, and that's why this animal is a $25,000 or $50,000 price tag on it. But genetically speaking, like that's just the platform. That's just the beginning. And there's so much more to continue layering on. And I think that for me, in my future at this point, what I want to do is start getting animals that are, multi-recessive visual, multi-recessive hets. So that way I have best odds possible. I can start producing some of the animals, like I said, that I want without paying for it, being patient, gaining traction in the social media. I'm really, honestly, I laugh because I say it out loud, but I'm proud of myself, is that I'm at like over 1,000 followers and I'm at over 20,000 views on the page. And I go, dude, that's 20,000 set of eyes that saw something that I'm nobody. I'm just a regular working class guy that has a love for animals. And there's that many people that I just started in a month's time that feel the same way as I do. I said, man, I'm stepping into something here, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, That's dope as hell.
Yeah.
You said something that I like. When you said patience, a lot of people don't realize that it takes a lot of patience in this hobby. And then
Yes, it does.
something else. It was another thing you said that I wanted to capitalize, but it slipped my mind because I definitely enjoyed the conversation.
That's right.
So I got like one more question before we get up out of here. So this one I want you to really think about, because you probably already got it in your mind, but this one I want you to really think about. So is there a dream snake that you want to produce?
Mm.
Well, I'm sure it is. So what's that dream snake? At least one of.
That's the hard part. It's like Lay's potato chips, man. You can't just have one, dude. You know, I have so many in my mind that I just, because that's why I think when I chose the animals I did to breed, I wanted to be able to produce something out of each project. And I think I think I said it already. The one that I'm most excited for first is to make lace hypo clowns, and then my ultimate dream, which I still think is a white lace hypo clown.
White lace hypo clown.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to this is a white lace guy. He loves lace. That's all he talks about. Lace. So that's pretty dope. And I lied. I said that was the last question, but my last question for you, basically is, what advice would you give to breeders starting to plan long-term projects?
Be patient. Don't give up. Don't let the addiction break the love or the work get too. Don't get overloaded with work, more so to the point where you can't control what your actual task at hand is. If you can't handle 50 to 100 animals, and you're not set up for a facility or even a reptile room. Like, I don't think it's smart to make impulsive decisions. I think that the best thing you could do as a new breeder or somebody getting into this, my opinion would be is make smart decisions, calculated choices as far as which animals you want to breed, and make the pairings that you're going to do with the best odds possible, so that way you can get to the results you're looking for faster.
Yeah, and ask questions. Ask questions. It does not hurt to ask questions at all.
Right.
Questions. I encourage people to ask questions.
Yes.
They right there. Win the same.
You don't know. You don't know if you don't know, right? That's the old saying. And education is key. And I think that's, like, for me, I love this. I chase it like doctors every year. They have to recertify. They have to take classes. They have to take courses to stay current with the times. I think it's super important to do that in this industry. It's very important to stay up to what kind of genetics are out there that people are really heavily invested into. You're talking 6-figure numbers on some of these projects. And when you tell an average Joe that, you're like, dude, you're buying thousands of dollars of what? You're buying snakes, dude? Like, you guys are freaking crazy, man. And you're like, okay, well, that's fine. But I feel like I'm a part of history today. We're tapping into, like, just the shed testing alone. Like, what a phenomenal jump in technology. Like what Charlie's doing, what Dr. Ben's doing, all these people, RGI, all these people are lovers of animals just like me and you, but they were able to figure something out that jumped us in a different direction, where now you can verify through shed testing genetics. Like, you're not guessing anymore. You don't have to prove it out. You're saving yourself years and time is money. So, I love it, man. I think this is like I said, we're just at the tip of the iceberg right now. And I think if we, in 10 years from now, have a conversation like we are now, we're going to be like, you're like, dude, that white lace hypo clown. I remember when you said you wanted that. I'm like, dude, I got him now. Look how cool he looks as an adult. He's clean as hell. And I'm producing multiple codoms on top, or maybe sticking that into a puzzle, or sticking that into like a zebra project, or the Xanthic stuff with Desert Ghost. Like, there's so many cool genetics out there that we are just starting to break grounds on.
Facts. And a lot of people are missing out that it's like 400 different genetics, man. And people are asleep. So many different combinations. So many different combinations. So yeah, man. But yeah, man, Scott, man, other than that, man, that's all I got for tonight. I definitely appreciate you coming out and sharing some knowledge, man, and just giving us a little insight into who you are, bro.
Thank you.
Definitely love that you got all this passion and this fire and this love for these animals, bro. And you got to keep that going. You're definitely gonna be around for a long time. I definitely believe in that,
sure.
Bro.
For sure. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you guys for inviting me.
For sure. Y'all, anywhere, what can everybody find you so we can get you some more followers and some more,
No doubt. No doubt. So right now I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm getting ready to switch over from buyers on MorphMarket to a seller's account. So that way I can obviously start selling on there. And then I'd like to create the TikTok and YouTube eventually. Just slowly but surely getting in. But right now, Facebook and Instagram is where you can find me. DM me anytime if you want to talk snakes. You want to start tapping into what we're getting ready to do here. Be a part of it.
For sure, man. We definitely gonna lock in, man. We're gonna keep you in the circle, bro. So we can definitely be with some more folks. Definitely enjoy this interview. Sorry the rest of the cats couldn't be here tonight because everybody was pretty much running behind.
Next time. This is the first of many, man. I really enjoyed this. I really appreciate it.
For sure. Like I said though, so replay gang, hashtag replay gang in the comments. Check out the show if you missed it, man. Definitely some good information, some good knowledge was spit today. Like I said before, if you're not a member of the channel, join the channel, man. Definitely be a part of some exclusive giveaways, exclusive merch that'll be giving out, all kind of good stuff, man. What else I got? Oh, and next week, the Friendsgiving episode. If you want to be a part of the panel, get up here and shoot the shit, talk snakes, talk animals, talk life. You know what I'm saying? Just bounce some ideas and crack jokes and have a good time with the OTP fam and everybody that want to tap in. Definitely holler at me, man. DM me on Instagram. Let me know. I set it up, send you the link, get you on the show. We can all have a good time, have laughs, and enjoy our Thanksgiving, man, and share what we're thankful for. You did.
That's right. Happy holidays to you guys.
Oh yeah, happy holidays for sure. I know you need that puzzle. Holler at me, man. I might have something for you soon. Hey, I got an idea too. So holler at me, Jamie. Other than that, man, I am your host, DJ of Oriole Caribbean Exotics. This is the OTP podcast, man, and we are out. You dig?